Namaste, everyone. Welcome to my online yoga studio, Angela Compton Yoga, or ACY for short. So today our practice is going to center around renewal, an opportunity to start over, to start fresh. As I'm recording this video, spring began yesterday, so it makes me always reflect on that time of new opportunities and renewal, a freshness for growth and everything new. So that's what our yoga practice truly is. Every time we come to it, we bring something different to it, and it gives us an opportunity to refresh and restore and take care of ourselves. So let that be your focus today, and taking modifications as needed, pausing along the way, going deeper where you know that you can, and backing off where you know that you need to. And that's both physical and mental, because we have a physical body and we have an emotional body, and one is as important as the other. So we're going to start today in a seated position, and just really getting grounded in our seat and sitting up tall, closing the eyes if that feels right for you, and hands can be wherever it's comfortable, on the knees, palms down or up, in the lap, just wherever it's comfortable for you. And just imagine stacking the bones on top of each other, so that we're sitting up straight, the shoulders even in alignment with the hips, and the head stacking on top of it all. And just begin to check in with your breath, as that is the center and the focus and the core of our yoga practice. It's the yoke that ties everything together. And I like to put one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly to really feel that breath and make a connection to it, a much deeper connection. Again, that opportunity to start over. Let's take a body scan and noticing tight areas. Unclench the jaw, soften through the face. Just notice how you're feeling, again, in the physical body as well as the emotional one. Notice how the belly rises when we inhale and softens when we exhale and releases. And begin to make the breath longer on the inhale, a little stronger and more forceful on the exhale. Trying to keep our lips sealed and building that Ujjayi breath very slowly and gradually at the beginning of our practice. We keep the lips sealed and make that slight contraction in the back of the throat that makes that hissing sound, the oceanic sound. Notice how the rib cage really expands on the inhales. You can even notice in the backside body. We so seldom use that full volume of our lungs. Now begin to softly open the eyes. And inhale, taking the arms up overhead and planting the right hand on the ground next to you. Take the left arm up and over and keeping both hips grounded. If you can keep both hips grounded, and come to the forearm. Roll the shoulder back. So the arm comes up and over, and so you can feel already that deep side stretch. And coming back through center, just switching to the other side. Palm down, right arm up and over. And you probably will notice, I certainly am, a difference from one side than the other. I don't feel like I can come down to my forearm on this side. But that's okay, no judgment. Just simply being an observer. Coming back through center. Inhaling, gazing up for a moment. And exhale, we're going to twist it to the right. Right hand comes behind you about 6 inches on the mat. Left hand to the right knee. And inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, we twist, but very gently, make it very simple. Through the center and to the left. Still sitting up tall. You can close the eyes here. Close the eyes whenever you can through your practice. It just keeps our focus, takes us deeper into that emotional body. Gives us more opportunities to renew. Now inhale, the arms come up once again. Exhale, folding over. Now walk the hands over to the left, kind of at a diagonal from the body. And now we start to feel it in the hips as well as the side body. And then while we're here, just take a walk over to the right. Moving back through center. Place the hands behind you. And take a back bend, shining the heart. It should feel good. Switching the legs. So now my left is in front, but it really doesn't matter which way you started because we're going to go to both sides when we take those diagonal twists in our forward fold. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, folding it in. Just letting the head hang and gravity taking over. But keeping the hips grounded. So taking a walk over toward one knee with the arms extended. And coming through center, walk it over to the other side. And get back through the middle. Coming up to our boat to build a little bit of heat. So you want the spine to be straight, lower belly, it lifts. Pelvic floor lifts, those are our bandhas, the locks, the root lock, the uddiyana, through the lower belly. Then you can see if you can straighten the legs. Also bring those intercostal muscles in. See if you can release the arms, but maintain a straight spine. Build your breath. And cross the ankles, roll over to the knees. And taking a few cat-cows. So inhale, pressing them out away with the palms, belly drops, gazes out. Exhale, now the palms, they push away toward the top of the mat. Round it in, belly to the spine, chin to chest. Inhale for the cow. Exhale for the cat. Use the palms of the hands to sort of exaggerate the motion a bit. Use the entire body. And of course your breath. And let your body lead the way. And wag the tail, pressing the hips to one side and then the other. You can make circles with the hips. One direction and the other. Coming back through to a tabletop shape. And And pressing the toes into the mat, curling them, and lifting the hips up high for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. First one of the practice. Pedal it out. Armpits in toward each other. Gaze toward the navel or through the legs. Pressing the heels toward the ground, although they may never touch. Bend in the knees, but the goal is to send the hips really high, pressing through the fingertips. And taking a couple of warm-ups, a sun A salutation with a variation. We're going to drop the ankles over to the right corner and take a deep bend in the knees. Inhale through center, exhale, knees bend, ankles drop to the left. Back through the center. Inhale to the tippy toes, exhale. Take it up to the top of your space, forward folding. Inhale, take a half lift and a gaze out. Exhale, forward folding. Inhale, slowly rising, pressing the mat away with the feet. Circling the arms up overhead. Taking a moment in our strong Tadasana. Gazes up, pressing through the four corners of the feet. Move the feet around to find those corners. Find your foundation. Lifting up through the kneecaps, the quads, the lower belly lifts. Arms are strong. And exhale, Samastitihi, bringing the hands to heart center. Just to pause for a moment. Finding gratitude for our practice. Inhale, circle the arms up. Take a side bend to the right. You can grab opposite wrist. Press the left hip out. Inhale through center, exhale. Keeping the hips square to the front, press the right hip out. Inhale the arms up. Now we're going to goal post the arms for a round of breath. Really press the heart forward, press the sternum forward. Inhale, the arms come back up and either swan dive or bring your hands through heart center. Folding in half. Inhale for the peak forward, the arch up. Exhale, we're going to plant the hands, step the feet to the back. You can take a Chaturanga Dandasana, high to low push up, or come to the knees, chest, chin. And then our upward facing dog, tops of the feet, shoulders down, heart shining, downward facing dog. Preparing for another round. So ankles to the right, bend the knees to the left, through the center. Inhale to pick up the tippy toes. Remember, contract that core. Walk it up. Arching halfway up. Folding it in. Pressing down to rise up to our Tadasana. Taking a side bend to the right. Left hip presses out. Through the center, side bending to the right, to the left. Can't have two rights, can you? Inhale through center. Exhale. Dive it, fold it in half. Slowly. No need to hurry. Lifting halfway in preparation. And exhale, take the feet to the back of the mat. Try not to scrape it. I just did a little bit there. That meant I wasn't using my bandhas there. Lower halfway. Inhale for the up dog or cobra. And tuck those toes, downward facing dog. We go. 3 cycles of breath here. How's everybody doing? How are we feeling? Now take a walk back with the hands. to meet the feet at the back of the mat. And take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. And inhale, take a peek forward. Exhale, we fold it in. The elbows come wide, the shoulders come up high. And then the belly, the chest, it rests on the quads. And begin to straighten the legs to your degree, but the belly and chest should still rest on those upper legs. And the head will just hang. And if you were in this room, I'd be able to hear your breath, lips sealed. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, we fold. Take another walk. This time the hands back to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog. Preparing for another flow. Taking a couple more rounds of breath. Now the left knee is going to drop down. We're going to come into a supported side plank. So left hand stays down, right arm comes up to the sky and over, and I'm keeping my back foot grounded so that I feel it stretch. Imagine feeling it from the fingertips all the way to the outer edge of that right foot. Gaze is up. And then we're going to come up for gate pose. So lift the upper body, take a side bend toward that back leg. Again, you can grab the opposite wrist. Oh, that feels good. And then left hand down, back to our side plank for just a second. Lift the right leg up. Bring it around to the top of your space. Plan and pivot the back foot. Front knee is bent. Rise up to Warrior One, Virabhadrasana A. Hips are square, shoulders are down, arms up, gaze up. And find your breath. Always keep coming back to that breath. And begin to come to the ball of the back foot and find lightning bolt. So arms are up by the ears, extended. Torso is bent forward. Belly pulled in away from your shirt, driving the back heel down. Gazing out ahead of you. Now you might need to take a couple of hops here because we're going to fly this lightning bolt to Warrior Three. So pushing off. Not staying here long though, just really a transition to come to our chair, Utkatasana. Opening it up. Through the center, take an awkward spin to the left. Shoot it up, just to fold it in like we did earlier. Through our Sun A, inhale, halfway lifting, gazing out. Exhale, take the feet without scraping. I did it that time. Take your Chaturanga Dandasana or not. Upward facing dog or your cobra. And then downward facing dog. So no need to do that. It's just a way to reset. You can always just come back to downward facing dog. And the right knee will drop. Coming into our supported side plank. Really roll that shoulder back. Notice where you feel it. I feel it right here through my hip. Through that psoas. And then coming up through the gate. Side bending toward that back leg. Back to our plank for a moment. Inhaling, lifting the right leg up. Circling around to the top of the mat. Plan and pivot the back. I'm going to step back a bit because I think I was too far forward last time. I'm going to be sharpening the camera frame. And gazing up, finding our Warrior One, shoulders down. Hips square. Stacking that left knee over the left ankle. Finding your lightning bolt from here. Is your core engaged, pelvic floor lifted. Push off, take flight. Find your warrior three. If the arms forward is too much, take them behind you. Always an option. And then set it in for the chair. Taking our awkward twist to the right, to the left. Really doesn't matter if you start left or right. Shoot it up. Fold it. Halfway lifting. Planting it, stepping it back. Taking your vinyasa or not. And then finding a child's pose, which we haven't taken yet. So spreading the knees wide, or if you keep them together, that's a little bit more restorative. It's up to you. But hips set back on the heels. Walking the hands forward, forehead to the ground, or if the knees are together, just bring the arms alongside you. It's a little bit more restorative. But they both are. This is the child shape, Balasana. So a moment to catch our breath, balance the work with the restoration. The work and the rest. The opportunity to renew. And coming back to hands and knees. Take more cat-cows here if you like, if that feels good to you. I'm going to come back into downward facing dog. And we're going to meet at the top of the mat in Tadasana. So you can walk it, step it, you could hop it, the half lift, the fold in. Press it down to rise up. Hands to heart center. Or to your side. Let's take a moment. Again, another pause. Feel your heart beating. Is your body warmer? How is your breath? So one more flow, short flow, a little bit longer hold. So our goal is to hold each of these postures for 5 breaths. So do the best you can. And we're going to lift the left knee up, step it back, arms to a T, the right foot will be pointed at 12 o'clock toward the toes toward the top of the mat. And just bend that right knee and come to extended side angle. So right forearm on the right quad, left arm comes up and over. Again, roll that shoulder back. Spin the heart toward the sky. Other options here, you could bring the right fingertips down, the outside of the right foot. And some people can take a bind here where they wrap the right underneath. My shoulders are just not going to cooperate to do that. Because the whole idea is to keep the chest open, and if you can't do that, you're really not getting much benefit. A couple more breaths here. And now we're going to straighten the elbow, right elbow, and the right arm, and we're in triangle. But the goal is not to touch the ground. So you may have to bring that right hand up the leg a little bit. So gaze this up, roll that left hip back. Utthita Trikonasana. And exhale, look down. Inhale, begin to rise. Coming through the long side of your mat, sitting into goddess squat. So toes will be out, heels will be in. Set it low. Goalpost the arms. Keep them at your hips. Many options here. You can lift one heel, then the other. You can lift both. Find your breath again. It's a super deep Ujjayi breath here. I think that was about 5. So straighten the legs. Flip the toes in. Fold it forward after we bend backward. And we're going to walk the hands toward the top of the mat. Turn the toes to face it. Low runner's lunge. Engage the core so you don't scrape the mat. Then take the right leg up high. 3-limb down dog. Take a cross tap, right to left elbow. Slip it on through so you're threading it through. Scissoring the legs, left arm up and maybe over. This is fallen triangle. We probably won't hold this for 5 breaths. I think that was about 4 for me. Then the right leg up and just set it down. To the tippy toes. Come forward. Inhale, arching up, folding back in, rising up to your mountain. Hands to the heart. Take a pause if needed. Just one more side to go. How's it feeling? So get grounded in that left leg. It's your foundation. Lift the right knee. Step it back. You can just keep the left toes pointed toward the front of your mat and come into our extended side angle on the left. Huge amount of distance between the feet here. So see if you can kind of inch that back foot back a bit. Deep lunge in that front knee. Roll the shoulder back and breathe. Try not to dump weight into that left shoulder. Use that deep psoas muscle there to contract it to help stabilize you. And then our triangle, so just straighten the left knee and the left leg. Right arm up and gaze follows. That's where drishti goes. Inner thighs that kind of turn inwards, slight bend in the knees. Exhale, look down. Rising up on the inhale to find our goddess squat. So this time, maybe you might want to take some side crunches. Just keep the spine straight. Maybe one more round of breath here. Really sink it low. Inhale, straighten. Toes in, heels out. Take that back bend on an inhale. Exhale, fold it. Come to the fingertips. Walk it back around to find that low runner's lunge. And send that left leg up. 3-limb. Tap it, cross tap it, thread it through. Right arm up. Lift the hips. Bring it back through. Downward facing facing dog. Coming to the knees for a moment. Checking in with everybody. How's it going? So that's the most intense part of the class right there. Oh, just a couple more postures. These will be the yin-like postures. For it to truly be yin, you'd hold it for 3 minutes or more. You don't do it quite that long. But certainly restoration is on its way. But there can be work in this as well. The breath will be slower, a little quieter. But when that happens, we start to re-engage the thoughts in a more interactive way. They never went away, they just kind of slowed down a bit. So as they come back in, just use your breath again to create space between those thoughts. You'll come to lying on your belly. It's going to be a shoulder and a hip stretch. And bring the right hand palm up by the chest. Left arm will come out like a wing. By the way, these are not real candles over here. And bend the right knee like you're putting a footprint on the ceiling. And roll over onto the right hip, left hip rather, and the left ear. And then plant the right foot on the ground behind you or experiment with it. You can kind of walk it out some further away from the body and then start to feel it in the hips more, in the front of the pelvis. You can straighten the legs some if you like. Just play around with it. See what works for you. And of course, feel that stretch to the front of the shoulder, the pectoral muscles. Just breathe into the shape. Try closing the eyes. Make adjustments where needed. And if you're uncomfortable, no need to. Just stay there. Make adjustments. Maybe you don't need to keep that right arm up anymore. Try to let go as much as we can. Just takes time. And roll over back to the belly. Just let everything neutralize for a moment. Bring both hands down to your side. You can wiggle the hips back and forth. Just let it settle for a moment. And switching sides. Right arm out. Left palm up by the chest. Really just need it for a little bit to give yourself a little bump up when you flip over. And then the left knee bends, flip it, you can kind of scoot a little bit to come onto that right hip as we are lying on our sides essentially. And the left sole, the left foot to the ground behind you. Walking it out a bit more away from the body if you want to get more into the hips. Or it can be straight. Again, just finding what feels good for you. Let your body lead you. And slowly rolling out and back to the belly. Let everything neutralize. pass through a child's pose. Another option in child's pose, if you want to continue this shoulder stretch, is come to the elbows. And then I'm kind of an upside down namaste along the back of your neck. And you can walk the elbows out more to feel it deeper into that subscapula. Again, unclench the jaw, soften through the face, the cheeks, the forehead. And then cross the ankles. We're going to take Halasana. It's upside down forward fold, but if it doesn't work for you, just take Paschimottanasana, a seated forward fold over both legs. I'm going to take Halasana, because there's a shoulder stand option there. If this is early in the day for you, you need energy, it's a great transition to that. But Halasana, plow pose, take the feet up, like you're putting a footprint on the sky, and then support your lower back. As you take the legs up overhead, if they touch the ground behind you, you can release the arms. And see if you can soften through the shoulders. I know I tend to kind of hold on there. So just being fully present. And using your breath to soften. Because in the exhales, it allows us to sink further into whatever posture we're in. Breath continues to soften. You can stay in Halasana, or if you'd like, do a shoulder stand. Just bring the hands back in to support your back. And lift the legs up to your degree. They don't have to be straight. I'm sure mine aren't completely straight. It's not about that. It's about changing the flow of blood. And this will give you energy. So I would not do this right before you go to bed. You can circle the ankles, rotate them, the toes. You can scissor kick. Open up the legs. You know, just be a little playful with it, okay? Smile when you do yoga. Smiling releases the clench in the jaw that we often have. And then when you've had enough of your shoulder stand, that's Salamba Sarvangasana. Come back through the plow and then unroll it. And if you unroll it slowly, you're also going to be working your core. We don't want to flop down at any rate. And then as I counter pose to shoulder stand, I'm going to take fish, so I like to walk my hands underneath my hips. Not everybody has to do that. And then we're going to support ourselves on our forearms, arch the back, legs stay extended and coming through the crown of the head, or some people have the head lifted, but I need that support. And you know what? If you need that support, why wouldn't you use it? And slowly lifting the head and releasing it down. Taking another hug in. Well, I don't know if that's another. I don't know if we haven't done this yet or not. So if we haven't, it's high time we have, because this is so good for the lower back. And then it just reminds ourselves that, you know, the person who we should pay the most attention to is ourselves first, before we can take care of others. So finding your way to our final posture of restoration, relaxation, Savasana. And finding what feels comfortable for you. Again, it could be Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet kissing and one hand on the heart and the belly. Or the traditional, just the feet splayed out and the arms to your sides, palms facing up. Just get comfortable, get the wiggles out. And if you are, somewhere like in your house or somewhere really safe, take a deep breath in and exhale it out. Wouldn't do that around a lot of other people. But if you're by yourself or in your household with other members of your family, by all means, just do that a couple of times, and it just allows you to really release fully. Savasana. Stay here as long as you like. And I'm going to begin to reawaken. Slowly, lazily making some movements. Brush your thumb across the fingertips. Toes begin to wiggle and move. Retaining the wrists and the ankles. Nice long body stretch. Hugging in. Rolling over to your favorite side. And as we started class with discussing how this yoga practice is renewal for our emotional body and our physical body. This position reminds us of that. With the eyes still closed, to make your way to the meditative seat. This is where we started the class. Sitting up tall, bring the hands in front of your heart space, palms kissing, slight tuck of the chin. It was an honor practicing with you today. Share out this beautiful feeling of peace and renewal to those in your life, in your community. See you next practice. Namaste. Again, my name is Angela Compton Yoga, or ACY, Online Yoga Studio. I have other videos there, so join me. Let me know if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback, or if you'd like to customize, have a video customized for you. Be glad to do it. Namaste.